Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Marriott's on the move. What? Marriott's on the move. Again? Marriott's on the move.
If you're dreaming about moving to a new city to pursue the life of your dreams, this podcast is for you. Moving 18 times in 23 years to 5 of America's top cities, I know it's not easy to make those decisions alone. I help you develop the dream, the plan, and the move, even if we need to get scrappy to get you there. I'll be doing interviews, career and city spotlights, and sharing my crazy moving stories, tips, tricks, and scams to avoid. Traveling to explore your dreams has never been easier. Now let's get moving. For you on the show today. She has been on the podcast a couple times. I've got Laura Sinclair from Laura Makes Moves joining me today to kick off National Moving Month.
Yay!
Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thank you. You know I love being here.
I love having you because we just talk about a lot of random stuff when it comes to moving, and you're like my spirit animal when it comes to moving stuff.
I love that. Yes.
Well, and I Googled, like, why is May National Moving Month? And it literally said, like, because it kicks off the crazy summer moving season. You are also a real estate agent, and we'll talk a little bit about what you do for those that are new to the show. Well, maybe let's do that now. So what is Laura Makes Moves? Let's talk about that.
Yes, Laura Makes Moves is my passion project that came from my career in real estate, which came from my chronic moving as a pastor's wife. And I guess the first time I moved, technically, I was just a student. But since then, I've been moving because my husband's a pastor. And so we're both not from the area we live in now. We won't be here forever. In fact, I have a gut feeling maybe in the next year we'll be moving on. I know we can talk about that. So Laura Makes Moves. I obviously love real estate because I'm a real estate agent, and I specifically help relocation clients. So people who are moving to my town from out of state, from really far away. And I just love helping them because they rely on me to introduce them not only to their home, but to the town, to let them know where to go to get certain things, who to talk to, who to call when they need help with their roof or with their windows. And so I love that part of real estate is really helping people get acclimated to their new home. And so I wanted to do something where I could do that for more people who are all over the country and not just moving to my neck of the woods. So I started Laura Makes Moves, where I specifically consult with people about their relocation. I answer all their questions like, how do I buy and sell a house at the same time? How does that work? And then I get them connected to a real estate agent in the town they're moving to so they can know that the person they're working with loves relocators just like I do.
I don't think people realize like how much real estate agents do for you as somebody moving to a new town. Like you mentioned, like making recommendations. When you move to a new town and you don't know anybody, like that is your person. And one, if you don't have a good relationship with your real estate agent and they aren't like kind of your people and get you, they're not going to pitch you the right houses, first of all. But two, but like you guys know everybody. Like that is your job, is to know the town, know the surrounding areas, know what's good, what's not good. So like that, I love that you do all kinds of stuff for your new movers too.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I always tell people, I'll be your first friend, you know, like I might not be your best friend. I can't be everyone's best friend, but I'll be the first person you know. And I've got some really fun stories of being that person for people. Like, for example, one client who moved from Colorado, we got our first hurricane warning. I'm doing air quotes because we're so far inland that even though the news hypes it up, we never get anything extreme. It rains for like 2 hours and we're like, the hurricane. But she was just seeing what the news was telling her, like, oh, we've got a tornado watch and hurricane warning. And she was panicking. And she was like, I don't know a single person in this town. And if everything gets crazy, like, will you call me and make sure I'm alive the next day? Yeah. I was like, yes, I will. I'll keep my eye on you for one, but for two, please don't panic because this never turns into anything. And then it didn't. So that was just really a sweet moment to realize, okay, like I'm literally the only soul that she knows in this town right now. And she's considering what happens if a hurricane comes through and takes her house down. Like, who's going to check on her?
I didn't have, well, I mean, I had that buddy, but I didn't think to ask anybody. And like
Mhm.
literally, because I know the hurricane you were talking about. I mean, like we got pressed. Like that was the one that swept through like Tampa and ended up
Yeah.
hitting Fort Myers. Laura, I took everything on my patio, which I had just built because I had just moved into my home. And we're talking, I had like a fire pit area. I had like a sitting area with like swinging chairs. I had like my actual table. Like it was a big patio. I bet it's like 12 by 14. I took everything and I put it under the covered porch. And I mean, we're talking like barricaded. And I'm like, what do I do if something comes through a window? Oh, I could do that. I mean, I literally thought of everything because I'm from the Midwest and we have tornadoes and those are crazy and erratic. And I was hearing like, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. Same thing that you just said would happen, happened. Literally, like we got rain for a couple hours. I think the winds got up to about 30, 35 miles an hour. For like anyone listening, if you don't know what that is, that's like a normal thunderstorm.
Right.
And I put all that work in, and then for the rest of the winter, everything stayed under there because I was like, I'm not going to bother putting it back. It's the winter. I'm not going to go sit out there. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, it is funny. And that's just something like, how can you know that if you've never lived there before, right? So just all these little nuances about getting to know a town. And I think it's such a privilege to be that person for people. And that's kind of what started this passion for me to make relocation as a whole, not just as a real estate agent, kind of my life's work.
Yeah. Well, and the way we met was we're both in the Gold Digger podcast Facebook group. And I had put something about, launching my podcast and some of like the technical difficulties that I'd had that morning. And you commented like, oh my gosh, somebody that loves moving as much as I do. And I was like, oh my gosh, my people.
Yes.
And we've literally been friends since. Like we've met in person. We like, poor Laura I come to her and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I do this?
I love that. We all need people like that in our lives.
We do. So, we are talking about moving and it's National Moving Month. Starting today is when this is airing, May 1st. I mean, we're a little late to the game. It's the 29th, so we're not too far behind in when we're
almost
like,
today.
This. Yeah, and we kind of just wanted to have a conversation about like what that means and like preparing for a move. And like working with me as a coach, a lot of times people come to me, a year in advance, like, hey, I'm thinking maybe next summer I'll move to this town. I'm not sure. And we'll kind of work through what that looks like and how to prepare for it. So like finances, are they physically and mentally ready for a move? Are they, what does their town need to have? And then does it get it closer to them, to their dreams? And a lot of what I love to do is I will refer them to Laura when they're ready to actually like find that town. So like we'll do all the pre-work, right? And then we get to a point where we can say like, okay, now you're going to start interviewing real estate agents. And that's what Laura Makes Moves does. Like, so she'll find you a couple real estate agents in the area that you are looking to move. And then she helps you kind of vet out whether they're a good fit and all that stuff. But what I was super excited about is that Laura decided she was going to make a moving journal for people. And so we're kind of teasing that out here. So I want to talk about what that looks like because I don't think people often realize how much goes into a move. And that 4 months before a move is kind of that sweet spot, right? 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And so I want you to tell them, because I was very lucky in getting a sneak peek of like kind of what that looks like. But I want you to go through and kind of talk through kind of what you put in there, why it's important. I mean, because there's a lot that goes
yeah, it's hefty. It's right now it's at 100 pages. It's almost finished. So there will probably be a few more thrown in as I'm coming up with new ideas and getting feedback from people like Mariette about what might be missing. But yeah, no, it's a full planner. So it's designed to be used every day. And at first it was just a collection of like checklists and guides and things to keep you on track. But it occurred to me that at least if you're like me, like everything else in your life doesn't stop just because you're moving. Like you don't just need to plan your movers. You also need to plan when you're going to have your last doctor's visit and when you're going to take the kids out of school. And so you really need a daily planner to plan your whole life. Your appointments and everything don't stop just because you're moving. So it is a daily planner. So it's got a month and then 5 weekly planning pages because they're left blank. So you can add in your own dates depending on when you're moving. So it's that. And then on top of that, there are the appropriate checklists and guides that you'll need at that phase of the move. So it follows my moving method. I call it the PPM moving method. It stands for prep, plan, move. And those 3 phases encompass every single thing you would need to do to have a successful relocation, not have forgotten something significant or important. And they're in the correct order of when you should be doing them. So ideally, I have 4 months of planning pages in there. So if in a perfect world, if you could have 4 months to do all of these steps, that would be great. I know that that's not always the case. Some people get relocation orders from the military or from their job, or just life events come up. You really can pick it up anywhere because the pages are not dated. So you can pick it up in June or in August or whenever the time comes for you to start moving, and you're just going to have to move more quickly through some of the tasks, or maybe you pick it up a year ahead of time and you get to move more slowly. So I really tried to make it so that anyone who's moving can use this planner at their own pace in the way that makes sense for them. But it has a lot of different things in there that I know as someone who's in real estate that I would forget if I was moving, and this is my job. So sometimes you just need these things in order to remind you when you should be doing what.
And I imagine like you'll be driving or something, or you're like, putting one of the kids to bed and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I got to put that in there. Like, cause there's so many things that pop into my head too. So my Apple Notes or my notes on my phone is so full of like these little tips. I need to go in and like just consolidate them into one master.
I know, mine
plan.
are everywhere. They're everywhere. I just started a new system that I kind of like. This is so not on topic, but I started emailing myself with the subject like ideas in all caps. And then when the email comes into my inbox, I just move it into a folder. So that way I can at any moment just like hit email and email myself with my ideas. Cause I was doing the same thing. Like I have sticky notes all over my desk. I've got notes in my phone. Yeah, this is my outline for the planner. So this is when I first started outlining what would go where. And so, yeah, my thoughts are just exploded all over my life.
Have you heard of Monat or Modern Nature? I hadn't either before my friend Monica was raving about their skincare products that she's obsessed with. I took their hair quiz to find out which product line would be best for me, since I just happen to be looking for new shampoo and conditioner, and I signed up for their VIP package that got me a little bit of everything to try out. Turns out they are the first anti-aging hair care line in the world, which I didn't even know was a thing. And their products are gluten-free, vegan, and Leaping Bunny certified, which means they're never tested on animals. Now I'm obsessed with their rich formulations that feature botanical extracts, essential oils, and other naturally based ingredients, and I want to share those products with you. I'll put the link in the show notes, or you can hit the faves page on my website. It's safe, EU approved, and clinically tested by third parties. So essentially, robustness approved. Now back to the show.
Boom. Play it.
Have you ever listened to a commercial on the radio or a podcast and thought, I could totally do that? Well, I am challenging you today. Being a voiceover artist is an amazing side hustle that can be done from the comforts of your own home. Heck, it can be an amazing career. Just ask Jesse Carroll. Jesse's got over 1,000 voiceover credits to his name. Ever watch Backroad Truckers? He's the narrator. He's also done a ton of commercials for brands you would definitely recognize. If you're ready to try your hand at voiceovers, go to marriottsonthemove.com and head to my favorites page to learn more about his new digital course and coaching package. If you use code MOTM, you'll get 20% off at checkout.
Hey, Micah Burgess here. I just wanted to drop in for a second and let you guys know that we are rebranding my podcast. We've got a new name, My Doula Micah, my birth, my baby, my life. And we are super excited about extending the content that we've got going from childbirth to postpartum. Now we're including family and marriage and just kind of your life in these childbearing years and what that looks like, and maybe give some helpful tips and wisdom. I mean, I'm 51. I got 6 kids. I think I can help you guys with some stuff. There will still be local interviews, of course. And I'm also expanding now to have including more nationwide interviews. We even have somebody from Canada and Australia. So I'm super excited about this process and what we've got in store for y'all. So join us.
Well, I think too, when you are buying and selling a house, like how long on average does it take? Like when you list your house, I mean, I guess it depends on the season, right? Like
depends on the season. It depends on the market. It depends on your strategy with your real estate agent, how competitively you price it. So yeah, it's really hard. One of the things in my planner is like a timeline of events, and it's very general. So knowing that there are variances and that things can change depending on so many different factors. But in general, right now, because we are in a bit of a slower market, that being said, there are many cities right now that are in a very fast market, but lots of the country is starting to slow down, and homes are spending about 60 days on the market before going under contract.
Oh, wow.
So things have slowed down. You're going to want to start listing your home earlier. Before it was like you could list it and be under contract in 2 days, and that would help your move go appropriately. But now you need to be a little bit more strategic in timing for your sale and your purchase if you're going to be doing that. And the only person who can guide you in that specific situation is a savvy real estate agent. I can make you a planner all day long, but I don't know what city you're in. I don't know what time of year you're in. I can't tell you those things in a planner. I can only tell you that if you're coming to me as a potential client in my market. So you'll see through the planner, pretty much it's like, this is a guideline. Ask your real estate agent.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder why it's slowing down. Is it just because of the percentage rates and stuff?
Yeah, interest rates have gone up. I think we all know that. There was a lot of hope that they would be coming down this summer, and that has pretty much not happened and is not projected to happen until end of year and maybe even into next year. So interest rates have slowed things down. More inventory, more people are listing their homes than they were 2-3 years ago. More builders are building homes. And so, I mean, honestly, it's slowed down to a realistic pace. I know people feel like it's slow and like it's taking forever because we're so used to that fast pace, but this is much more stable. It's kind of a win-win for everybody. It's more predictable. Buyers don't have to forfeit their inspections. They don't have to offer over appraisal value. So while I say it's slowed down, I don't want people to take that as, a red flag. It's slowed down to a normal pace.
Normal. Well, I mean, everybody's pants were on fire in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like you could, house values went up through the roof. And so people were like, get me out of here. And then they couldn't find a place. Mm-hmm. So that was the thing. I mean, I know I sold in 2021. I listed, and within 24 hours, I had 3 offers. People were coming up to my door for 2 weeks afterwards, and I had literally within 12 hours accepted an offer, which was well over asking, which I was so grateful for. But then I couldn't find a place here in Charlotte, so I ended up renting for a year, which worked out perfect because I figured out where I wanted to live. It allowed me to build my house, which I love. So yeah, I can see that. But once you accept an offer, it's still, right, 2 months or something until you...
I would estimate 30 days depending on the circumstances. So if it's a normal, not contingent sale, so as in your buyer doesn't need to sell their house in order to buy your house, you're probably looking at 30 to 45 days is what the lender needs to close the loan. And that's really the slowest factor. So the attorney needs about 2 weeks. So if you were doing cash, you could close in 2 weeks. If you're doing a loan, the lender needs 30 to 45 days to get everything done. And then beyond that, if there's extra contingencies, it goes up from there.
So if you are contingent on selling your house for someone, so like if I accepted an offer from somebody that was contingent on selling their house, like at that point, are they already typically listed or no?
Ideally, yeah. Ideally, yeah, but you never know. It depends on how desperate you are. If you're in a really slow market and that's your only buyer, I guess you're going to take what you can get. But ideally, yes, I tell people that if you're going to have a home sale contingency, you want to have your home listed, especially in this slower market. Before we would see offers come in that were home sale contingent, and it would say, okay, we're listing next week. And you'd feel okay about it because most everything was selling in a day. Yeah. But nowadays, you don't know for sure. So ideally, you would have your home listed before you're writing offers to buy your next home. That's the strategy I usually recommend. There are some cases in hot markets or if you just have a little bit of leniency, you know, in your life and in your pace, that you could maybe go the other way. But it's trickier now to buy a house without having listed your own home first.
I mean, this changes on a dime because when we talked last year, it was a completely different situation. So it is interesting. It's a lot to think about for people that are considering moving.
Yes,
Or
and I
selling their
know.
home.
Yeah, I know how overwhelming it feels when you're in that beginning phase and you're looking ahead at the mountain and you're like, okay, I'm here and I need to get all the way up here and then over and down. And it's a huge ordeal. But I think that if you have the right team of people around you, if you have a moving coach who's going to coach your mentality during that time, which I think is one of the hardest things to master, is your mental state during a move. And if you have a real estate agent, a lender, movers, people you trust and who you know are going to take good care of your goals and make those things come to fruition, then you're really just doing one foot in front of the other, right? Just like you do anything. So that's really my goal with this planner, was to give them the blueprint, to tell them, okay, you can't make a move happen today, but you can give everything to Goodwill that you don't really want today. That's a one-day job. And then you're significantly closer to getting to the point of being able to pack a box. So it's just taking one little step at the right time, because if you pack up your house way too early or way too late, you're going to find yourself in a big amount of chaos. So getting those things done in the right order at the right time makes moving feel less like a mountain and more just like a journey, step by step.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that people get so stressed out about is this journey, and it can be fun. Like, I'm a joyful mover. I've said it on the podcast before. I love being able, like, I've never hired a crew to actually pack up my stuff. I know a lot of people that have. It does get pricey depending on how big your house is, or you know, how much stuff you have. But I know, like, for me, I really enjoy the process of like decluttering and then having like a garage sale, or just purging things at Goodwill, knowing that somebody is going to go to Goodwill and like find my little treasure and enjoy it when I haven't, you know, I don't need it anymore. But I think that's part of it too, is like with a journal, you can actually write out how you're feeling and how, like, where you're at, and be able to look back after the move when you're like happy and settled and be like, oh my gosh, I remember that day. I was so stressed out, and I'm so glad I wrote that down, because like 2 days later, I'm like, this is the best thing ever. I just decluttered half my kitchen, you know? So it's like having that, almost like being able to like track how you were feeling, to be able to reflect on it and like appreciate where you are at that moment, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It would be a great keepsake. I wish I had this on my past moves, because when you get into a phase, maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 5 years, maybe 10 years down the road, and you're considering another relocation, if you're like me and Mariette, we move all the time, you have this, essentially it becomes a diary to look back on and see, you know, what you did before and what worked and what didn't work, and how things turned out in your favor, or maybe how something didn't work the way you thought it would. And I mean, that's just a really cool thing to hold on to and look back on, especially if your move's coming at a very pivotal point in your life, like to get married, or after having kids, or to go off to college. So that would be a really cool thing to hold on to through the years.
Yeah. I think any transition, like I have a whole graveyard of journals, but I recently, probably, I think in December or something, I found one that says, grow through what you go through. And it's like a really cool, the way it's like bound. It's not like a wire bound, but I don't know. I just really think it's a cool book. And so I've actually found myself writing in it. I don't do it every day. I do it like maybe once a week. I've skipped a couple weeks, I think. But I can go back to it and now look back at some of the things that I felt at the beginning of the year and be like, oh my gosh, that's, you know, I have just in that short amount of time have grown, because I bought it right after Carter passed away, my second dog. And I spent the first like part of the year like really, really grieving. And so like just to see where I am today, where like I can walk past a picture, like I have 2 pictures of them right here. I can walk past a picture and not start bawling my eyes out. Like that's progress, right? But it's a transition. And I think that any transition you go through, to be able to see the progress, is really powerful. I mean, even when somebody's losing weight, like, or even I wear extensions in my hair. I have them in right now. I'm going to get them taken out and put my other ones in. I just love extensions, and I change my hair all the time. So gives me that freedom to change whenever I want to. But it was funny because the girl that normally does my hair, she moved to Charleston, and I said, gosh, I just feel like my hair's just not growing. And she sent me a before, like a picture from when we like first started working together and to now. And she's like, no, it's grown like 5 inches. And I was like, oh my gosh, it doesn't feel like it's grown at all. But looking at the picture, I'm like, clearly it has, right? So it's just neat to see that transition that you, when you're in it, can't see. Like people say that with weight loss all the time. Like, you know, I don't feel like I'm losing weight. I know the scale's moving, but I don't see it until you like see a side by side and you're like, wow. So I think people are really going to enjoy this because it's, one, it gives you it's a tool for your tool belt. Like you need all the tools you can get when you're moving, so it's not stressful. But 2, it gives you a good, you know, thing to reflect back on. And it doesn't have to be just you. Like I was thinking about, like if I was moving with my family and having everybody write in it and like having like what people are feeling and like how they're, you know, what things that they think that they need to get done. Like it could really help a couple people if they're moving together. So yeah. So I actually designed I called it Moving Healthy, a guide to an emotionally healthy relocation. And it was less like, I know, right? I'm just so savvy. It was less logistical. Like this one's very logistics, like make sure everything gets done. That one was very family oriented, like you just said. And it was more journal prompts. So thinking through how you're feeling and then guidance on how to coach children who can't necessarily process this that well. And I never did anything with it. And I realized as I was getting ready to launch this planner, that was a great time to kind of relaunch that into the world. But I wanted to make it even better. And so I've called a friend, Shannon Soto. She's a licensed counselor. She's also a former pastor's wife and has relocated a dozen times herself. And she's just one of the best moms I know as well. And I've had her look over it, and she's going to include her own little inserts into it. And so it's going to be, you know, psychologically accurate. It's been looked over by a licensed professional. It's not just my whims. And that's going to be a freebie delivered along with people who purchase during launch week. So when we get this planner launched out this May, if you do want to purchase it on Amazon, which is where it will be available, you will get a free guide to an emotionally healthy move, co-authored with my friend Shannon. And I just think that's a really great thing to tag on to this planner. So you have something to guide you with those parts of the move as well. I might have to make that my freebie for a while for you as well, because I think that's amazing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, so if somebody wants to get on your mailing list, because I imagine that's when you're going to tease when the actual launch is going to happen, how do they find you?
Yeah, so actually definitely go follow me at Laura Makes Moves on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. But you can head over to my website, www.lauramakesmoves.com, and I will have a little pop-up on there for you to get on my mailer list. That way, as soon as we launch, you will know, and you'll get a link directly to Amazon if you'd like to purchase. That will include that freebie I just mentioned. So that's the place to be, because if you miss launch week, no more guide to an emotionally healthy move, at least not for a little while.
Man. Well, we will keep an eye on that, and that is for sure something that I think everybody should get regardless of whether they're moving, because the minute you decide you're going to move, you're going to want to write everything down and start using the checklist. So thank you so much for being on the show, Laura. Happy National Moving Month to both of us. I mean, as a real estate agent, I think this is your like busiest time of the year. So
sure is.
I wish you peace and lots of free time, which I know you probably won't get, but
thanks.
I pray that for you.
Thank you so much. I've loved being here, and I'm excited to come back again soon.
Absolutely. All right, thank you.
Well, I could go on forever and ever about moving you closer to your dreams, but I probably should save some thoughts for the next episode. A big thanks goes out to you for making time for me today. And making time for me, you're making time for future you, and we're both grateful. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the podcast, download the episodes, and leave me a 5-star review. I would really appreciate it. In return, if you go to my website, marriottsonthemove.com, and register for the Monday mailer, I'll send you a free Fred workbook to get your journey started. This is also where you can find all the show notes and all the ways to get in touch with me. A special thanks goes out to Rogue Media for its wisdom and partnership. Until next time, friends, keep moving forward towards your dreams. Oh, and the legal stuff. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I am a certified coach, not a licensed therapist, and this is not meant to replace the professional advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. This is solely my perspective based on my own experience and training. Okay, now it's over. For reals. Bye for now.
This has been a Rogue Media Network